Hello, hello. I'd like to welcome you all to our new course topic by offering up this. I want to give you all permission. I want you to give yourself permission to clean the slate, to recommit to your goals at any point in time. It does not have to be on January 1st. It does not have to be on a Monday. You can clear the slate and recommit to your goals on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. You just get to do that. It's magnificent. It's beautiful. It's powerful. But what I want to teach you through this course topic and these modules is how to truly recommit to your goals in a really powerful way that allows for consistency and competency and confidence building in terms of really being able to map out what that goal looks like, be able to see the strategy behind getting to the goal, what the tangible result of that goal will look like. And here's the deal with goals. We don't have to become tied to the timeline. It's not going to look like this perfect path to getting to the goal, right? So we don't have to judge any of that. This is why we get to recommit at any time. And we get to ground in our goals, and we get to think about what we truly want by first getting clear and then being able to just decide to recommit and believe that this future goal is our property. The future is your property. When you set a goal and you anchor in this model, anchoring in the thoughts and the feelings and the action that is inevitably going to get you those results, boom, that's the magic, right? So when you think about setting a future goal, the future is your property. We're busting through the timeline. We're kind of separating ourselves from the timeline right now. We're not judging ourselves if we mess up today, but we are believing the thoughts that are going to fuel us, motivate us, inspire us, excite us, so that we take powerful action, so that we start seeing those results more quickly. So when you set a specific goal, that future goal, that desired outcome, that desired circumstance, we put the goal in that C line, that desired C line, and we believe it to be possible in the T line, the thought line. And here's what ends up happening, right? We set a goal. We have never achieved this goal before. Maybe it's 20 pounds weight loss. Maybe it's, a big increase in terms of the amount of money you're making. Maybe it's a new relationship, whatever it is, something that maybe you haven't achieved before or next level goal. It feels impossible. It's going to feel impossible when you set that goal. But just when you decide that that future goal is your property, when you decide that it's a possibility, there's no going back. You've declared that. There is a possibility that I am going to be a version of me that's 20 pounds lighter, that there's a version of me that's making multiple six figures, that there's a version of me who has the most amazing on-fire relationships. There's a version of me who's stepping up and showing up big in my life, doing things that I never, ever would have imagined I'm doing. All of these goals feel impossible. So there's that level of discomfort because we start feeling that cognitive dissonance. And the idea behind doing this work in the framework, this model, is to bridge that gap. The impossible becomes possible, right? The possible becomes inevitable. We don't know the timeline. We don't want to become tied to the timeline. But if we are grounding in goals that align with our core values, something that we truly desire and want deep in our heart and our spirit and our soul, and you believe even the slightest bit that that's possible for you, if you keep showing up in possibility, the goal is going to be inevitable. The result is going to show up, okay? So I'm going to use an example here of making just more money. The goal is I want to make $5,000 more a month, okay? I desire another $5,000 a month. I don't see that in my reality, but this is my goal. And y'all know what our brain likes to do. It likes to default, right? It likes to go back to all of the negative places. It likes to say, how? How is this gonna work? How am I gonna make $5,000 a month? Do I really have time to do that? All the sneaky excuses and thoughts, right? Our brain is going to go to the impossible. It's going to try to keep you stuck and safe in the same. But here's what I want to offer you. We want to be able to think about the possibility. You've declared this as a goal. You've seen it. You've envisioned it. You've aligned to it. This is my future. I want this. And I don't need to judge that. And our brain wants to create all the excuses and the justifying thoughts so you don't see that result. You stay the same, right? It's like setting the temperature in the room. Like if you're used to 70 degrees and all of a sudden we're like, no, we're going to jack it up to 75 degrees. You're like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know. I might be sweating. It could be a rough go. Right? This is what our brain wants to do to keep us safe. Our primitive brain. It wants to create all the default thoughts. But what we want to do is we want to set ourselves up for success in terms of really seeing those inevitable results by believing in the possibility. I want $5,000 more a month. That's my goal. How? We're busting through the how. So you ground in the thought that everything is figure outable. Maybe you ground in the thought that I can generate more money. If this person can make $5,000 extra doing this, I can make $5,000 extra doing that. You create a possibility thought, right? You create that possibility thought that makes you feel inspired and excited and motivated and convicted. And then you take action from that place. And I know that your brain loves to do this. You're like, really? Am I really going to take action from this place? Yes, you are. Anytime that you have achieved a goal, anytime you have gotten to bridge that self-concept gap in terms of who you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago from now, until who you are now, you've done exactly this. You found a possibility thought, you felt inspired and empowered, and you kept showing up, even when it's uncomfortable, even when the bumps in the road show up, even when the obstacles show up, right? And then the result is inevitable. And it shows up on like a random Tuesday, and you're like, oh, that's it? I'm 20 pounds lighter today. And guess what? You likely feel the same as you did the day before. You start seeing this $5,000 a month come in. Okay, great. You feel excited, right? It's going to continue to kind of drive that feeling place. It's going to be the evidence that certainly is going to provide you with that confidence to continue to thought stack. But it's not like this like adrenaline rush roller coaster ride that like, oh, I get to stay on for and just like continue on this ride for the rest of my life. No. Life is 50-50. You are not going to feel like this whole new version of you in that instant, but it has certainly compounded, and it's allowed you to find evidence, which then lends itself to higher quality thoughts that are going to continue to get you the high quality results. So the result is always going to be inevitable. So what I want you to kind of think about in this model about recommitting to your goals is setting that intention, right? Who do I need to become? Like, how can I step into that future me right now in my goal? I want to make $5,000 more a month. Who does that version of me have to be in order to see that result show up? So for example, like I need to be the most efficient version of me. I need to be the most, I want to say problem solving version of me, but I want to be the most effective version of me, not in my emotional brain, but in my really like my problem solving brain. So if that's the intention, you need to align an action to that intention, right? Otherwise, we're not going to see those results faster than we ever thought possible, right? So you set this intention, I want to be efficient. I must be efficient. Okay? And the action step that aligns to that could be something like time blocking. It could be something as simple as doing the hard thing first in the morning. It could be like, I'm going to meal prep every Sunday and I'm going to have all my meals lined up. And of course, that's like the weight loss goal, but I'm going to, watch I'm going to find a guru and I'm going to watch their webinar like every day for 5 weeks. Whatever it is, you just get to decide how that's going to align to being the most efficient version of you, the most effective version of you, the most committed version of you. What does that look like? And then you show up and you take action. So your homework is to think about not only the goals that you want, that align with your values, that align with the life that you want to lead. I want you to think about the tangible results. This is my goal. How am I going to know that my goal has shown up? How am I going to know that I'm getting closer and closer to my goal? It could be just that intention and that action, or it could be the tangible result. I have the $5,000 in my bank account. Even if it's not the full $5,000, I have $3,000 in my bank account. That's the result. Clearly, I know I'm on the right path, right? Like there's some evaluating that I could do to get to that next 200K, but I know, or 2K, but I know that I'm taking all the right steps. So maybe the action is like this evaluation process that you do weekly. Like, okay, well, I didn't generate anything this week, so what could I be doing differently? What could I adjust? What do I think is working? Are my thoughts in line, or am I in a place of lack? Am I in a place of mistrust? Am I in a place of unbelief? Maybe that's the action. I want to be the most efficient or effective version of me. Well, every morning I'm going to wake up and make sure that my thoughts are spot on, that I ground myself in anchor thoughts that inspire me and excite me. But I want you to think about setting a goal and knowing exactly how you are going to see that show up. What are you going to see in terms of the intangible result or the tangible result? How are you going to know that you've achieved that goal? In that space, I also want you to think about the intentions and who you have to be in order to truly step into that future self, in order to truly believe that the future goal, that future you, that future is your property. So get after it, and I will see you in the next module.